So welcome back to My Tempo with Morgan, and today I'm in the heart of Harlem with the playwright and the producer of Homage 3 Illmatic, Sean Neblett. His pen name is MC Sneb, and in addition to being an essayist, he's also the founder of Changing Perceptions Theater.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Very excited.
So Sean, it's 2010, and you're a modern, living, breathing playwright. We're here. It's Harlem.
Yes.
When did writing begin for you?
I began writing when I was 17 years old in high school. And, you know, everybody wrote poetry and short stories, but I decided that I wanted to be different. So my father, he showed me an article about a youth theater company that was starting at the local YMCA. And it turned out that I went there and I was the only person that signed up. So the teacher became my mentor and just started writing plays with him. And by the end of my high school career, I got a very wonderful opportunity. I was produced at the Public Theater through Young Playwrights Incorporated. And my play was one of 4 plays that was selected from a pool of 2,500 to receive a full production in New York. And you know, that sort of just started everything.
So at a young age, what kind of things were you writing about?
Oh, wow. At a young age, I was writing, you know, I think I was writing about what I'm still writing about today. Like, it was always very important for me to create young African American people on stage and tell the stories of young African American people on stage.
So Sean, how was your love for Harlem reflected in your work?
Wow. My love for Harlem is reflected in my work through the spirit of Harlem, the rhythm of Harlem, the people of Harlem. It's funny, when I graduated from NYU, I made a very conscious choice to come up to Harlem, and I didn't want to be anywhere connected with the theater. I just wanted to submerge myself in a community and a place that had people that would create characters that would become in my plays, that had stories like the stories I wanted to tell. And then in working with a lot of young people in Harlem, mentoring young people in Harlem, just the spirit, somehow you just pick up the spirit.
Tell me about your latest play. I know you're really excited about it. It's called Homage 3 Illmatic.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, well, I decided that I was going to write a cycle of 7 plays, and the name of the cycle is 7 Homages for 7 MCs. And each play is taken from the spirit of a famous hip-hop album that somehow influenced hip-hop culture and people who listen to hip-hop culture. And the third one in the cycle, Homage 3, is dedicated to Nas's famous album Illmatic, whereas the Homage 2 is dedicated to another rapper. Homage 7 will be dedicated to someone else. But this one, Illmatic, we're very excited about producing here in Harlem. Homage 3 Illmatic takes from the spirit of Nas. The story told is about an artist who starts out at his career and goes on to become someone very influential, and that was really the spirit of Illmatic. The Illmatic album, which was the start of a brilliant career for Nasir. And, you know, the play just touches on different aspects of the album and really how the album influences the driving force of the story.
So is this the first of the 7 that you're producing? This
is the first of the 7 that I'm producing, and that's fully flushed out. Homage 2 is being completed this summer. The writing of it. So we're going to start, really after we do this summer production here in Harlem, we're going to start workshopping Homage 2 and getting it out there. Yeah. That's great that you kind of have the foresight to know that it's a series. Yes. And you're starting with 1, so it'll be like a complete compilation of plays. Yeah. In addition to being the writer, the playwright of Homage 3 Illmatic, you also produced it yourself. Yeah. So what was the reason why you chose to self-produce this play? I chose to self-produce Illmatic, the Homeage 3 Illmatic, because as hard as it is to believe that hip-hop culture and hip-hop art and the business side of hip-hop has been around for a good 30 years now, people still don't understand it, right? Or people still box it into being one thing. And when a lot of people hear hip-hop, they're just sort of waiting to hear the stereotypical story of, you know, a gun, someone shot, dead. And we, you know, we ran into approaching theaters downtown and different theater spaces who we felt didn't really understand that there are many different layers inside of this play, and that the key thing is that we're paying tribute to an artistry, or we're paying tribute to how a piece of art affected people's lives. But they were just sort of hearing, well, you know, you have a character that we don't really understand, so you might have to change this character, or you might have to take this character completely out of the play.
The whole creative control is very important, because without that, I mean, the traditional route of you having someone else produce it is you have to convince them of your vision.
Yes.
And then they have to execute it.
Yes. And they have power over saying what you can do and what you can't do, or what you should change and what you might really be trying to say, you know?
Right.
Whereas we wanted to take a try at just being confident in what we're trying to say and what we're trying to do, and put it out there.
So Sean, what are some of the important elements that actually go into producing a play? I mean, I think people know, oh, I know what a director is, but what are the roles of a producer?
The main job of the producer is to develop a good team of people that would work and that are committed, and that show up on time.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of thinking on your feet when problems arise, like how to solve the problem. The producer has to think about ways of publicizing the work, how to ask people for money, you know, to support good work, and to support people who will be dedicated enough to, you know, make a good product happen.
What were some obstacles that you had to overcome in order to make your dream a reality?
Probably the biggest obstacle that I had to overcome was working a 9-to-5 job, and just really finding the time and the energy to pay attention to my craft, and being conscious about making sure that my art became my major drive and purpose in life. You know, because when you're working a 9-to-5 job and they're judging you by, you know, what time you clock in and what time you clock out, and you have to fulfill a certain amount of hours, it's really easy for your focus to really shift on what you're doing. It was really just deciding how to just hold on to the drive to make the product happen. This is the biggest part of the journey so far, you know.
Right, and well, I think your vision board helps out a lot.
Yes, my vision board is very important. Yes.
Yeah, like you said, kind of the mental conditioning of like your favorite quotes, or your favorite people, or the most supportive people in your life.
Yes,
you know, people who are part of your dream. So when you wake up and look at that, and we've talked about that before on my show, about the vision board being really positive and showing gratitude.
Yes,
and that helps the conditioning.
The vision board is very important. You know, create your own commercials in your mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Sean, how much of an influence did Nas's classic album Illmatic actually have on the writing of your play?
The album had a lot of influence as far as like the story and the things going on inside of the characters. You know, there was a point where I was listening to Illmatic every single minute.
Sure. Jogging
at the gym, listening to Illmatic. And, you know, I don't think that Illmatic could just be captured in one play or one piece. Because there's so much stuff on there. What I hear in Illmatic is that there are a lot of snapshots of the environment he lived in. So the main character in my story is a photographer, you know, and it's about, and he takes snapshots of things in his community. And, you know, it's sort of things that drive the story. A major theme in the play became about how do we value people that we sort of don't even look at every day, or sort of the underdogs. You know, one of the most classic records on the album is Life's a Bitch. You know, so then it became about a character who really believed that life's a bitch and then you die. You know, so that became a major conflict, because then you have one character who really mentally believes life's a bitch and then you die.
Right.
But you have this other character who is really really invested in living. How do you create a story about the starting off point of an artist who could become really great, you know?
Right.
So those are the ways that Illmatic really influenced the story and the writing.
Tell me a little bit about Changing Perceptions Theater.
Yeah.
And like, what are some of your dreams for the future?
Yeah, well, Changing Perceptions Theater is a theater company that I started. It's very new, and it has a strong youth theater component. The youth theater component is really been formulated over time. It allows us to go inside of schools or different community center programs and teach young people theater, and teach young people how to create theater, you know. So we're trying to experiment with, you know, offering our main characters different alternatives, you know.
A triumphant ending.
Yeah, triumphant ending. I remember actually Gem of the Ocean, August Wilson's play. It ends with one of the characters saying to another character, "Go live," you know. And that was like one of the most memorable points in the August Wilson play to me, because I was like, wow, look at how that ends. The character is just telling a younger character, "Go live," you know. So with the Changing Perceptions Theater, we're really trying to create plays, stories, ideas that really are in that vein of saying, "Go live." Or how we perceive ourselves as writers now is that, you know, we're producing, we're creating, we're assembling teams, and we're just not waiting for people to come and say, "Okay, here." You know, we're changing that perception, we're changing that idea that we're a lot of artists that are just like, okay, well, we believe in ourselves, and before we reach a point that we give up on ourselves, we might as well do. So, you know, it's also about changing the perceptions of a whole lot of things.
What would you say to somebody who's watching, because they're watching,
Yes.
and they have aspirations or dreams to be a writer or write and produce their own play? What would you say to them?
Learn how to tell a story and be very comfortable in learning how to tell a story, right? And once you get over that hump, then you could experiment with doing different things. Don't wait for it to happen, or for someone to come by and say, "We will produce this," because a lot of people want to produce things based off of who their audience is, and if their audience doesn't look like you, or isn't in the same age group as you, they're not going to open the door. You know, it's really important to just find a way to do it yourself, and don't just think of the writer as the person that sits at a desk and creates the play. You know,
You have to become it.
yes, you have to become it.
Where can we find your play?
Homeage 3 Illmatic will be at the Black River Performing Arts Center. We're doing it up in Harlem. We're very excited. We have a location right off of 125th Street. That's located at 345 Lenox Avenue, between 127th and 128th Street. Take the 2-3 up to 125th Street. You just have a 2-minute walk, and you'll find us there on August 5th, 6th, and 7th. Showtime is at 8 o'clock, but you could buy tickets at the door at 7:30, general admission. And definitely, you could definitely find us online, or you could call 646-410-0246.
Thank you for sitting and talking with me and our audience out there.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know, I'm so happy that we had the chance to sit down with Sean. And like I said in the beginning, it's a living, breathing playwright, like right here in Harlem. We can celebrate Sean and his great efforts now and not after he's passed on. Right?
Oh, yes.
And I hope that you've been inspired by Sean's story and his desire to tell great stories in a compilation, starting with the first one, which is Homeage 3 Illmatic.